After 3 goals and 1 win from your first 6 home games, how welcome was that?
That was fantastic from the first minute. You know, we had a plan to get after them, go forward when we got the ball, and of course Scott gets 2 goals in the first 3 minutes, which is a great start to a game.
You joked beforehand about popping a balloon in the dressing room to wake your players up for a fast start. So
yeah.
I take it you did that quite close to Scott McTominay's head.
We've found a way of getting them going anyway, and just imagine if that had 75,000 people here, it would have gone down in history as one of the better Man United performances against Leeds here at home.
Just tell us about the plan, Ollie. They're a unique side to play against. Every manager says that. So what was your way of picking holes in that?
One, you had to earn the right to win it by running as much or even more than them. So that's the challenge against Leeds, who are one of the fittest teams in the league. So that'll be interesting to see the stats. Then again, we know their man marking. Of course, there's a couple of movements that we worked on that worked at times, and it could have been 12-4. It could have been. It's that type of game. And
did you enjoy it?
Yeah.
Just as
yeah, because you know it's going to be frantic, hectic against them, because no matter what the result is, 5-0 or 5-0 down or 0-0, they have a certain attitude and style that make you have to work and you have to concentrate every minute.
Tell us about Dan James' role today. You said you had something specific in mind for him.
I think you saw what he did for us today, of course. Starting off on the front foot, he's so quick and sharp. And for me, I don't know if it's inside or outside, but it's either a penalty or a free kick for Dan when he gets his arm and he gets a yellow card for diving. That's shocking refereeing.
What about where you are in the league now, Ollie? All of a sudden, it's felt like it's certainly been portrayed as not a great season so far. All of a sudden you're third and you're 5 points off Liverpool, who are top.
We're 1/3 into the season. We're not even at the halfway point. So the league position is not something we look at. We look at improvement in the team, look at improvement in fitness, because we knew we were going to be lacking behind in fitness, and I think it showed in the first few games. But now, today, I think we show that we are getting a fitter and stronger team.
Did you need a day like this at Old Trafford, do you think?
Our fans needed that one. They should have been there. Unfortunately, they're not here. I think the players with no fans, I don't think it matters home or away, but our players will go home tonight and sleep well. I think they've worked hard enough and deserve maybe a lion.
Well done, Ollie.
Cheers.
Well done.
As a team, they're an amazing team with an amazing coach. You know, I feel like the detail that they go into, both on and off the ball, is high. You know, and we know it as well. So we've done a lot of video, a lot of analysis on them as well. So I feel like for me, the manager fully trusted you to do your job today, and obviously it pays off when we get 6 goals.
Well, Gary Neville said in commentary you turned into a combination of Paul Scholes and Roy Keane. Quite a nice combination.
But yeah, obviously. Yeah, you just go on your pitch to do your job. You know, you don't want to be getting too carried away. It's nice to score 2 goals, and the team do a really good job. And obviously for us, it's the next game. Every game's a cup final for us at this football club, and the managers firmly reiterated that to us. Last year we was far too inconsistent, you know, with approaching games not in the right frame of mind. But I feel like this year we have to be so dialed in, so focused in every way that we approach the game. And for us today, I feel like it showed that. And obviously we've gone on a really good run. It's a good job we scored 6 at home today. That's what I said in the dressing room. We need to get used to scoring goals at home. You know, it's so important to have that fortress when teams come here to be worried and scared about us.
Does that change a lot, winning big here, with what it's been like this season at Old Trafford?
Yeah, obviously it changes it because the confidence grows and everybody gets that real boost of energy, and obviously the athleticism that we showed today was second to none. I feel like the distances that we all covered as a team. First of all, you win your battles and your basics in football matches, and the quality comes out at the end. You know, that's what the message was, and I feel like we delivered that today.
Suddenly, third, only 5 points off top. It just looks like a very different start to the season all of a sudden.
Nah, we don't look at the table. There's no time for looking and seeing all the fixtures or the runs that we've got. We have to take every single game one by one, and come the end of the season, you never know who you can be, you know.
Well done.
Top man, thank you very much.
Well done, Scott.
The last time Marcelo Bielsa conceded 6 as a manager, 1992 in Argentina in the Copa Libertadores. Right, centre midfield player on Scott McTominay. Not just today, but his overall development. Where's he at?
I think if you look at him in stature, he's got a nice build about him. You know, he's got a nice, I think must be about 6'1", something like that. Last year, I thought he was just kind of finding his feet. But even last year when United was struggling, he seemed to be the one who was taking them forward. He seemed to be the driving force. And I think Ollie likes him. We used to like him. Ollie really likes him. I always kind of wondered about him because I don't think when people talk about a holding midfield player, there has to be more than just to hold. You know, in my time, I didn't hold. You know what I mean? But when I did hold, I held. But if I had to sometimes pick myself to go into the box, and I said to someone like McTominay has to have that kind of once or twice a game. You know, as Alex Ferguson used to say to me, once or twice a game, just get yourself into the box. Otherwise, you're too easy to mark. And what we saw today was kind of the perfect performance from him. You know, he did what he had to do. He controlled the game. He got his tackles in. Defensively, he was sound. But then once or twice, he just popped into the box. And as Michael said, the two finishes were absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, they were right up there, weren't they? In terms of
they were,
finishes
and the first touch for the second goal as well was brilliant. I mean, Leeds obviously helped, and we'll talk about Leeds, I'm sure. But in terms of McTominay's finishing, they're absolutely outstanding. I think Phillips here moves way out of position for a sitting midfield player, and this was absolutely the theme of the day. The space that they afforded them in midfield for the likes of McTominay to break onto. And, I mean, look at him, he's just got acres and acres, even if he didn't want to, even if he was told to hold, I'm sure he couldn't have resisted there. He had so much space. Phillips just can't vacate that area for me, you know, and I mean, you would have been proud of that finish, didn't he?
Oh, great. That's the edge of the box. You know, position yourself on the edge of the box. I didn't score many goals, but I love what I'm just holding on. This one, I love this. It's a great run. Listen, obviously, Click doesn't go with him, but he sees the space, he sees the opportunity. He's actually seen that the man who should be marking him is not marking him. He's more attracted towards Rashford and if him to go. And he makes the time on the run, and that touch there and the finish on his weak and foot was absolutely sublime. You know, that wonderful, wonderful game. I think, obviously, Gary never mentioned about it. He was a bit mixed between Scholesy and Roy Keane. I'm not too sure about that. I think he needs to stop drinking. But he's definitely one for the future. He's definitely one for now, and he can only get better.
OK, let's bring the former Leeds striker, Robbie Keane, back in with us. I mean, the boys plays in Manchester United and Scott McTominay there, Robbie. From a Leeds point of view, do they need to change? Was that naive?
Listen, it's obviously very, very naive. We know the manager, he won't change. The problem is when you play against a top team like Man United and you've got quality players like Rashford and Fernandes, and obviously McTominay today was superb. But they can pick through you. They can pick gaps and pick holes. And as Mo alluded to earlier on, that Leeds didn't help themselves either. They vacated the space way too often. As I said, Phillips was all over the place, and he happened to get taken off. But they play Burnley next week or Newcastle and probably end up beating them 6-2. That's the way Leeds are. But when you play against the top teams, you get found out sometimes.
Yeah, they're playing Burnley at home next, for example. That's your point. But when they come up against these big teams that they've conceded 4 at Crystal Palace, 6 today, they've conceded 30 goals this season, Robbie. Is that a concern in terms of staying in the division?
Yeah, I think the teams like Man U, as I said, that the top teams will pick them off. They'll always be entertaining to watch, very good to watch. But as a fan, watching on, you must be having heart attacks with the amount of opportunities they give teams to go and score. They need to be a bit more disciplined. As I said, the way they play, the way they run, you want to run over teams, but at certain times you just have to pick your moments. And we've seen Phillips there a couple of times, went out of position. And it's very, very difficult when you're playing against top teams like Fernandes, who can pick up the spaces in between the lines. And it's very difficult to mark. But as I said, they'll play Burnley next week, and they'll play the exact same way. And you could beat them 4-0.
Yeah, and as a lot of people have said, barring Manchester United fans, they would be their second favourite team to watch in terms of entertainment. But just to back up what Robbie was saying there, when you look at the figures, and Marcelo Bielsa will surely be doing that, most goals in a season, there you go. 24, 30, 54 in total. But that 30 is 4 more than any other team currently in the Premier League. They have the worst defence.
Yeah.
That 30 is 4 more than any other team currently in the Premier League. They have the worst defence.
Yeah, but, and there is a big but. You know, they go to Liverpool at the start of the season, they lose 4-3. If they could go to Liverpool and just sit back and let's just defend, they probably get beat 3-0, 4-0. It is the way they play. That's how they play. So they're gonna expect to get hammered like today a few times a season. But they're also going to win certain games, as Robbie rightly said. Now, we're going to show some clips here. None of these ended up in goals. We've already seen the goals and how much that area in front of the back three, back four was exploited today. But these are other clips that just show you how vulnerable they were today. I mean, look at the spaces in midfield there. The referee, I mean, there's one player there within about 40 yards of the defence and the attack. And Manchester United basically outnumbered them in that area. Again, I mean, every one of these clips are just examples, Paul, of where Leeds really lost today.
Yeah, for sure, yeah. And to be fair, it's not like, you know, you've got a team like at Barcelona where you're passing 10 or 5 passes to get through Leeds. This is just 1 or 2 touches, just like 1, 2, and they're straight onto their back four. And I get Leeds, and I get what Leeds are trying to do. They're going to feel that they're going to beat most teams with the way they play. But sometimes you've got to look at these things from a tactical point of view and say, don't matter who we're playing in the Premier League, we can't allow these gaps in that middle of the park. As Michael said, they're too big, teams are creating too much chances, and you can see him, whether he's going mad at himself or urging his players on, but he's certainly not happy. But him as a manager has to look at that and say, we can't have that massive gap in midfield because you can't have teams just going straight onto our back four. And the way Leeds play and at the tempo they play and the standard that they play, they will tire. They can't do that for 90 minutes game in and game out, and teams will pick them apart.
Sense with this manager, Marcelo Bielsa, there isn't any change coming, is there?
No, absolutely not. No, I mean, he's been doing it for a long, long time. But as Paul said, when you play against the top teams, the players who have got quality, like Man United obviously has throughout the team, you get found out sometimes and you get picked apart. But he certainly won't change his ways. As I said, they're playing Burnley next week. They'll play the exact same way. They'll try and run over them. But I think you need a bit more discipline in the group, and that's where I think the leaders need to come in there. So if I'm a centre-back Cooper there, I'm making sure that Phillips is sitting in front of the back four because there was attack after attack after attack. And that's where you need the leaders to grab hold of some of these players.
I just wonder, if you were a current Leeds player, would you be saying anything? How would you feel playing in a team that open?
Well, attacking-wise, I'd be delighted because you always get opportunities to score. But you can ask Incy the same question. He'd be absolutely fuming. He'd be raging as a centre-holding midfield player when you got bodies running all over you. So as me and Mo as an attacking player would be great for us.
Yeah, but listen, he's right. And, you know, Michael spoke about a clip before where there was just one centre midfield player in the middle of the park. If that's me, you know, I'm screaming at my people. I'm screaming at my wingers to get back in. I'm screaming.
Well, attacking-wise, I'd be delighted because you always get opportunities to score. But you can ask Incy the same question. He'd be absolutely fuming. He'd be raging as a centre-holding midfield player when you got bodies running all over you. So as me and Mo as an attacking player would be great for us.
Yeah, but listen, he's right. And, you know, Michael spoke about a clip before where there was just one centre midfield player in the middle of the park. If that's me, you know, I'm screaming at my people. I'm screaming at my wingers to get back in. I'm swinging. But as Robbie said, no discipline. You know, they attacked at 5, defended as 5, and, you know, I couldn't play it for Leeds week in and week out. I couldn't. Honestly, I couldn't. No, when you're there on your own and you know, you got 4 or 5 red shirts on it every 2 or 3 minutes, you know, I'll be gone. I'll be stretching off after 25 minutes. Honestly, I couldn't do it.
Sent off.
I don't know, I was sent off one of the 2. But you got to feel for Karen Flip. For someone who's played that role, he needs help, and I don't think he got that today.
Yeah, I mean, you only have to look at the goal scorers. Patrick Bamford's right up there.
Not like you to look at the goal scorers.
Well, but he's one of the leading scorers in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Let's get it right. Is he one of the best 10 strikers in the Premier League? No way. No way is he. But he's one of the... So it's just the team that he's playing in. And I don't necessarily think they're that open. At Anfield, honestly, first game of the season, I watched the game, they were absolutely brilliant. They weren't that open. Yes, they were, you know, attacking and defending, but it was more as a unit. Today, they were just so stretched. And as Paul said, if you're the sitting midfield player in that team, I mean, you're on a hiding to nothing anyway. As it happens, Phillips didn't make it any easier for himself by vacating the area as well.
Just a quick one on Manchester United, Robbie. Where do you think they're heading? These two think maybe they could win the title?
I think they're a little bit off, to be honest with you. Listen, it was a great performance today. Are they consistent enough? I'm not too sure. But listen, they have certainly quality players. If you look at, you know, a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about Tottenham maybe having the opportunity. You know, I think it was a big week for Tottenham against Liverpool and they lost. So for me, I think it's still Liverpool.